It's very, very nice. It's soothing, warm, and calm.
Crazy Rapid, Apollo Hanzo. Apollo Hanzo's need to go and check out that studio and give that man his watchtowers. Even if you're not really interested in it, just leave it on play and give him his views.
I saw.
Yeah, Crazy Rabbit, Apollo Hanzo, Milo, Viral Beats. We still need to talk about this hip hop thing. VB, you got me interested. You know how to get a brother into collabing with channels. I think that's going to have to be the new norm, is to collab with channels and help bust through that algorithm.
And Steve, because remember how we wanted to do something with Kent, and you were like, oh, we can be on each other's stream. So Steve was saying, yeah, it should be fairly easy enough, because all you have to do is you go live and then go on Kent's stream, click on his stream, go in his stream, mute it so you don't get that playback, and then vice versa. Like Kent will then come on, we'll send him a link, click on the link, and then we'll be
dual streaming.
Live dual streaming, yeah. Theoretically, it should work. It sounds like it should work.
And that should get more people to go, oh, if I click on this channel, there's another channel.
What up, Apollo? How are you? How is everybody doing today on Sunday? I am exhausted. We're outside again in the garden. In the freaking 4 acres of land. Trying to get
in our forest.
Yeah. Just trying to get it to look.
Well, it's not a forest, but
good. Yeah, I think
feels like we're maintaining a park.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It looks like a fucking park in most places.
Yeah, but it was
getting a little bit crazy.
It was getting a little bit crazy.
I think we got it early.
And we have this. Is it a tree underneath the deck? Is that a tree?
No, it's
or
a
is
vine. It's an invasive. It's not even an invasive vine. You could buy those at Home Depot.
But it's so thick.
Those vines are made, exactly, that's the point.
Okay.
But they're made to cover up structures, and then you groom them as you want.
Right, okay.
So it just looks green.
But
problem is, they're not evergreens.
Right.
So they die off, and then they look wretched.
And then they come back.
Right. But you got to keep them back, or they're just going to take over the entire...
Which it has. So we have one vine. And it was lovely. It was really nice. It was, doing its thing. But then another one came around, and then another one came around, and then another one came around. And now we have this ginormous, thick,
root system.
Yeah,
and it's going down towards the well.
Yeah, and that's not good.
What's up, Sin Samurai? He said he's loving the layout and the vibes. Yeah, we trying to shoot for something different.
Yeah, it looks nice.
So and it's starting to do us more, bruh. I think you already know that.
So hence the new logo on his shirt.
Oh yeah,
I think it's one of my most
y'all
favorite.
Haven't seen the new logo.
Yeah. So move the mic. So
let me turn the light on first. But behind me is a Buddha head with a set of headphones on that's coming out of my mixer, so I can monitor the mixer separately through the Rodecaster. But with that being said, let me turn the light on. Show you all the new shirt we created.
Turn this one on?
Literally, like we pressed this shirt
just now, 15
minutes ago. Samurai, while you here, bruh, I need to tell you something. I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, because it's something we are implementing today. When you have your T-shirt artwork up and you're showing people the artwork, put a watermark on that bitch so nobody can take it, download it, and just go off and print a shirt.
Because it's happened to us before.
Yeah, and that's not helping your channel. They're not helping you, financially.
Yeah.
They're ripping you off. And I know some people don't think that they are, but at the end of the day, we ain't doing this just to be doing it. Like, it takes time out of our day, and we at least like to be either viewed or compensated.
Yeah.
Let me get this light.
I think, no, this one's good.
This one works?
Yeah.
Let me get in front of the camera?
Yeah, so no, I think if you just move the mic and just stand up. There you go. Perfect. Now move the cape. Yep. God, I love that. Yep. He looks badass. Yeah, that's perfect.
I mean, we could have had a little bit better image on that, but fuck it.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. SS's awesome shirt.
Yeah, I just don't want nobody to be ripping you off, bruh. Start watermarking it. That's what we're gonna do. If people want a shirt from us, we're gonna watermark it, post it in Discord. You can see the graphics you may like and whatever you want it on. But, you know,
It's pretty cool. The little, it's not little. It's
help
pretty,
support the channel. That's all we ask.
It's a pretty big printing system that we have.
Yeah.
And we could do shirts, hats, cups,
Hoodies.
tumblers. Yeah, any clothing, any type of clothing.
Yeah, I found a real good source too that has really great quality stuff. It's not cheap stuff. We're talking 50-50 stuff here, or 75-25, or, you know, the numbers get crazy, whatever material you want. And then too, we're starting to change our times up a little bit. I think we put ourselves in a bit of a situation that Marelyn and I and my brother are trying to figure out, but we need to just readjust the times for this show. Some days are going to be later, much later. Some days are going to be much earlier.
It just depends.
It just depends, and we're not going to stick to a schedule. And I know there's so many people going live that follow us, and a lot of viewers who like us, like other channels that may be live. So we're not worried about that. We're not worried about the viewers here. We're just worried about the content we put out. And I know a huge fan of that is the Crazy Rabbit sitting in the chat right now.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to a lot of what the Crazy Rabbit has to say. I listen to a lot of what Synth Samurai has to say about maybe running a single channel or a dual channel and staying true to yourself. And, you know, there may be times where there's just 5 people here viewing, and that's all right by us.
We've had that before.
We've had that before.
Yeah. And Lemon Lifer and Mark.
Right? And believe it or not, we was just as comfortable then.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about, I mean,
yeah.
Your art wants to be, you want your art to be viewed. So don't let me say, I don't want the viewership, but that's not going to be the priority on why we do this.
Yeah.
We're going to be up and we're going to just do us from here on out. Not worry about YouTube algorithms. And
it's just about, you know, the music, getting music out there. It's about talking about stuff that people normally don't speak about, and then just, you know,
get the fuck out of our house,
and then just have fun.
Yeah, get out of our house and just do us.
Have fun.
And just document this. All this is now to us is a well-documented video, audio diary for us.
Yeah. Yep.
Like Apollo said, just do you.
Yep. And Crazy Rabbit about not getting bored. Exactly.
Yep.
We're here all the time. People enjoy us. Some people might find it boring, and that's fine. You don't have to watch. You can shut it off.
Shut it off.
And go about your day.
And in fact, don't even come back if it's boring.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just,
or and torture yourself.
If some, I always say you've made it when somebody's talking about you.
Right.
They're in their, you are in their thought process.
Yeah.
Without even doing anything. So for me, like, if that happens, cool.
Right. Yeah. I went back to watch some of our old stuff, and I just saw how happy my brother and I were with just talking. And we just let that music shit just stay in the back.
Yeah.
You know? And we enjoyed that just for us. That was just a him and I thing doing that. And him and I both sit and go like, man, where did we go wrong? why didn't we stay with our podcast? And
Well, because
I almost feel like, hang on, I just want to put this point, and maybe you can help me see around this. I almost feel like, not even almost like I feel like, and I'm speaking for myself, not for Lamar and not for you, that I lied to myself about where I wanted this channel to go. And when I got with Hardware Jams, to me, when we went in there, it was great. It got us moving and it got us making music. And it introduced us to new people. But what happened to me is I wasn't honest with myself. I then catered everything around to, oh, this is what the people are coming here. This is what they want to see. This is what the channel should be. And the longer I lied to myself, the more I lied to the viewers that are here today, because I generated something that wasn't truly myself. And so now some people are here because of the lies I generated. You know what I mean? That falsehood I put out there. And now when I've realized this isn't the direction I really wanted to go. Like, I didn't want this channel just to be 80% music, 20% talking, or diving into the consciousness or deep thought or conspiracy theories or, you know, the stuff that I'm into about life, you know?
But in all reality, when the channel was created, Symptoms of Reality, the description is musically scoring the human consciousness. So you did have music there. You did want to play your music. You did want to have your music out there. You guys didn't do that in the beginning because you weren't confident enough to play it. And then here comes Hardware Jams. Here comes the other gentleman that we met who gave us the challenge of just going live for 100 days, and we did. And then the music got involved with the podcast, which then jump-started now the creation of an album. So I don't think necessarily it was a lie, because at the end of the day, there was music involved in the podcast.
Right.
And sometimes you get hyper-focused, many of us do, hyper-focused on one task at hand and forget something else. And then we sit back like, oh shit, but what about this? I forgot about this. And then we leave that other task and then focus on the other one, which is now just podcasting, which is fine because the channel is both. And I think there's a really good balance now of there's like maybe about 3 days of just jamming out and it's just music. There's literally no talking, and then you guys end it. That's great. And then there's another balance of a couple of days where it's just podcasting and we're just talking to people and getting their perspective on life and what they're going through, and, you know, and subjects that our viewers want to talk about. So I think there's a healthy balance now. Whereas before it was either one or the other, and then that was it.
Right.
So yeah. I think from what I see, what I'm seeing is it's getting back now to a healthy balance. There's still music involved, right? Because you guys still want to go live and put out that album, so there still needs to be a focus on that. And then there's also that need to break away from that so you don't burn out. And that is now just the podcasting, bringing people in, talking about stuff that, you know, is controversial or far out, but, you know, just to see other people's thought processes and everything. Yeah.
Rabbit. So I just read what you said, and I was listening to Sin Samurai. Maybe it was 2 days ago, but him and I had a conversation months ago about a second channel, and I wanted to do like fitness and mental health and just dive into that with the second channel. But a few days ago, the Samurai was like, Why isn't my one channel good enough?
Mm-hmm.
How come I can't do everything that is me on the Synth Samurai channel? And I mean, I don't know if some people listen to this dude and think he's a joke or everything is a fucking act, but literally when this man says something, if you could put the bullshit aside and listen to what he's saying, like something about it hit home with me. And I was like, he's fucking right. Symptoms of Reality doesn't say this channel is for music and only music.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And why do I need to create a second channel for things that are me? And when I read your comment, Rabbit, your channel right now, The Crazy Rabbit, it doesn't say,
oh, it's only about
this is Kawasi and all he does
or
is
it's only,
this.
yeah.
It says The Crazy Rabbit. And if I go into The Crazy Rabbit's hole, those holes branch off like
you're gonna get a lot of
grapevine.
Everything. Yep.
There's fruit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna walk into the hole knowing the man.
And like our channel, like I've always said, and if people have watched
What's up, Roy Droid?
this YouTube channel for a minute or went back and watched it, they've heard me say that Symptoms of Reality is the Seinfeld of podcasting, because there's really no storyline, there's no focus, it's just a little bit of everything. It's what we you get a glimpse into our life,
right?
What we're thinking about at that time frame. If we're silly, then we're silly. If we just want to play music, then we just want to play music. If we just want to talk, then we just talk.
Right.
So it's like a little glimpse into our lives.
And that's the thing, Rabbit. You don't have to come out of your hole, my boy. Bring people in there. Bring people in the hole and let them see what it consists of. Because to me, and I know what you mean by coming out of your hole. I know what you mean. But hear what I mean. Sometimes you don't have to come out of that hole to invite people in to see what The Crazy Rabbit is about. The invitation is open. Maybe I don't ever leave my domain. Maybe I'm like Tom Hanks on Monkey Island. Maybe I don't ever want to leave Monkey Island, but I'm accepting.
You gotta get your Wilson.
I'm accepting people to come to the island, to learn about the island. But like you say, check your ego, check what you think you know at the door, and come to the rabbit hole. Come to the Monkey Island. Go visit the Synth Samurai and his band of renegades.
I don't know. The rabbit hole is kind of boring.
Yeah, he doesn't have a genre. He's always different and experimenting. It's so boring.
So boring. Do we know if...
Said, I made mistakes listening to bigger channels that are not creating second channels to protect their main channel. We are not on the same path. No, we are not, sir.
Crazy Rabbit is also a very smart gentleman who likes his nose.
Strange guys, but I don't have my glasses. Can you read? Everything's blurry. Let me go get my glasses.
Your watch is talking to you. Okay. Oh, Sinseeker, what's up? He said, what am I missing? Sounds dramatic. It ain't dramatic. We're just chatting away. A nice little boring podcast.
Okay, Strange Skies. Let's see. One of the first online streams I go to. It's musical. Thoughts and Wide.
Yep.
Hey, fuck yeah, John.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, is Scotty coming on? Was I supposed to send him a link?
Send a link. I think Roy Droy wanted to join too. Roy, you still want to come in? You set up?
I'll just post the link in the chat, and whoever wants to come
post
in.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rabbit. So what you doing, man, is I think it's beautiful. I think a lot of the times your post, what you put up, just those quick posts, I think when you take breaks from creating music and you dive into what people are struggling with and why they are struggling with it, I think how you separate that, like a lot of people say their opinions shouldn't be heard, you know, and I think the exact opposite. I think everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely. Whether the observer thinks it's right or wrong, everyone is entitled to their opinion. That's what makes all of us different. And that's what I respect. As long as a person is being honest about what they're saying and how they conduct themselves, and they tell you exactly what they're doing, subconsciously or not.
Yeah. Crazy Rabbit says, it's the nurse that is still in me trying to find a way to help. I am taking care of me first, but you can't take that caring part out of me in trying to make a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, people often get blamed for, oh, keep your thoughts to yourself, or why are you trying to impose your will on other people? You're interfering with other people's thought process and their consciousness.
Isn't that crazy? Because we've done that from a very, very young age, right? You hear parents telling their youngsters, mind your business, keep your thoughts to yourself. You're not supposed to speak, right? You're not supposed to have feelings about the situation. You're not supposed to say anything. Shush up.
Mind your own business.
Mind your own business. You speak when spoken to. So for a very long time, we've nurtured humans to not express their emotions, right? And that's not good. We should be able to, you know, speak our thoughts, speak our emotions, not be judged by them. We don't have to be, you know, some people aren't going to like it, and that's fine. You can, you know, carry on your way. If they're not doing anything, you know, towards you, then move away.
Right.
Let it be. You don't like it? Leave.
but you know, I think whether we believe it or not, a lot of people look for other people's opinions, and they look for answers outside themselves. And or
we want to be accepted at the end of the day, right? It's human nature.
And or if you don't speak up, like the Crazy Rabbit said, I got to speak up. He didn't tell anybody he was going to speak up.
Right.
He just said, I got to speak up. So what I'm going to say on my channel may hurt your feelings, may not hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
But this is where I see things going. And he leaves it open-ended. It's not like he's implying his will on people.
Right, no.
He's just saying, hey,
opinion.
look,
this is...
I'm going through the same thing most of you guys are going through, but no one wants to fucking put it out there.
Right, yeah. Sinseeker said I made a second channel. It lasted about a week before I was like, it's too much work, and I deleted it. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that with a lot of creators create a second channel for whatever reason. I've seen creators do like a long form channel and then just a channel for shorts, and it doesn't last very long. It's a lot of work. One channel is plenty, especially if you're doing a 365 day challenge.
Yeah. But I like the workouts and stuff, and I like televising it. I'm just going to bring it over to Symptoms of Reality. I think I'm going to just completely shut down Ideations of Men. I'm just going to bring all that content and keep it here.
Well, yeah, I agree, because the channel is called Symptoms of Reality. So anything is a symptom of your reality, right? So it's left open for everything. Music, figuring out softwares, speaking about strange things that we've seen in the sky.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned yesterday, I think it was RDV. Correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody in the chat said my sister believes in ghosts or something like that, and they didn't, and I forget what that was. I noticed it because I'm like, well, I see dead people.
Right.
So that, I had that.
And you proved it to me.
Yes.
And it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. And so I was like, I wanted to tell that person, I'm like, no, but she's right in believing it because I can see it as well. So, and then we talk about stuff like that. So, oh yeah, RDV says, I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't have a sister. Okay. So maybe he commented on somebody else's comment yesterday.
Or maybe it wasn't him.
No, but I remember somebody saying, I don't believe in ghosts.
I vaguely remember this.
Yeah. Oh, no worries, RDV. Take your time.
Yeah.
We're here until like maybe 6:30, hour and a half.
Yeah, but I want to bring the workout.
Yeah, you should.
Videos here.
Mm-hmm.
And I could thank Synth Samurai for it.
Because it's everything, right?
Because, I mean, and here's the other thing that I don't get, is people don't give other people fucking credit.
Right.
They go off and they come up with these fantastical fucking stories like they made this up or they had an epiphany. People don't want to fucking give other people credit to help them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, man, you gave me a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's credit to you. Instead, they want to fucking put a boot on your fucking back and boost themselves up.
Yep. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the fucking, I don't know if I don't want to say that's humanity. That's the worst in us.
Yeah.
That's the worst of us. Who can honestly say, hey, this person helped me out through this. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a platform. I'm going to let people know this person helped me out and figuring out one of my things that I was struggling with. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't think that makes other people go, well, thank you. That makes me feel great. It makes me feel like I've done something for someone.
Right. Yeah. We got Roy Joy Void.
Right, Rabbit. People like that spread the love. I've heard Rabbit countless times saying, oh, I was listening to S.O.R and thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just fucking ignore the fact where he heard it from.
Right. Can I just say how jealous I am of RDV's hair? Like,
it's nice and full and shit.
The fuck? Yeah.
You wish you
I'm
had
over
hair.
here losing fucking
years.
hair shit.
Getting old and shit.
Getting old and shit. He has a full head of like luxurious hair.
Right.
Fuck off, man. Yeah, so what if I'm jealous? He's like, what? What happened? He's saying something, but we don't hear you. Sorry.
We don't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that's where we're taking this channel. We're going back to the good, where music isn't the foreground, where I will no longer be lying to the audience saying, this is what we are, and this is what we do.
But I don't think.
But I feel like that.
Right. But personally, I don't think you were lying to the audience because you said we want to focus on music because we haven't been doing this. And the whole point of this channel was to do music and podcasting.
Right.
And we only did the one and not the other. So in a sense, for me as a viewer, I don't think you were lying because you were doing essentially what you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You were just doing that.
Right.
And now it's a nice, healthy balance of both.
I can see that. But we definitely ain't no fucking. We're not a part of some clique, some synth
No.
family network. We're not a part of no synth crew.
No.
We're not a synthesizer crew.
Like Moser said, he said, "Tell him, Mads." Yeah,
I'm not. I don't want to be a part of some community that I have
No.
zero control of dictating how people should behave. Like, I don't want to be a part of a synth community. I just want to be symptoms of reality.
Crazy Rabbit said, "If you get close to RDB, I'm sure you could take his hair. It'll grow back."
I bet you could.
It'll go back.
New science.
We still don't hear you, man. What's going on with your audio?
What's your audio, bruh? What'd you do from yesterday?
Yeah, what'd you do different?
That's your problem. You get in there, you start pushing buttons,
Nothing.
and then you forgot what buttons you pushed.
We
Solo, I heard you, but it's
Yeah,
extremely.
you can hear me. Okay.
there we go.
There you go. It was a little low.
You know what I did? I moved the mic.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's all it takes.
Put that shit around your chin strap.
I know. Lamar yesterday was like, "Roy Droid Void, please get closer to the mic."
Right.
I know. I saw it. Yeah. Freaking mic is so not sensitive, I guess I should say. Because, yeah, I'm used to the gain getting higher, but this thing's turned all the way up.
Damn,
I'm like 5 inches from it.
that's crazy.
Doommonger says, symptoms of reality. It's your channel, guys. Do whatever you want to do, no matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
That's what it is right there, Doom.
Yep. See, Lamar said the same thing I was saying earlier. That
Yeah.
hair, though.
Hair, though.
Saying.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. You didn't hear what I said when I said it's been 6 years since I cut my hair.
I was just gonna ask you, how long has it been?
6 years.
Dang.
But you got to maintain them shits.
It started out as a joke because I told my kid I was going to grow a mohawk, and so I had shaved the sides of my head, because I was going to shave all my hair, but
Yeah.
I was messing with her, so I started growing it out, and then I said, well, forget it, I'll just go ahead and keep growing it, because
Why not?
I mean, when I was a teenager I had long hair, but not since then, so it's nice to have it again.
Yeah.
Much warmer in the winter, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it would make that big of a difference, actually.
It does.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Crazy Rabbit said, have you ever done braids or dreads or anything like that?
No.
Now's the time to start getting crazy, bruh.
Dreads are man, like I couldn't even imagine trying to deal with dreads. Like
Braids are
I
fun.
mean, I've had friends with dreads that, like, I mean, I got a friend that he's got dreads beyond his ass. I mean, they're crazy long, but that's too much trouble for me. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I've done braids in my hair.
Yeah, you have. When you used to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
she used to fucking roll and choke bitches out and break their
noses
and shit.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Crazy Rabbit's always like, I like my nose. My nickname at my boxing gym was the Nose Crusher.
Oh shit. So
Yeah.
you have broken noses.
Yes.
Yeah, she used to.
Yes, I have.
She won 10 gold medals in jiu-jitsu contests.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our Olympics.
Yeah. And my brother and I, Moser and I, we went through the sheriff's academy. He actually followed through and became a deputy sheriff. I did not. I went to a farrier lameness program and became a lameness farrier, which he went to farrier school, but he didn't follow through with it like me. He decided to go to the cop route, which is a beautiful thing because we both acquire knowledge from two different networks, right? But what we learned in the sheriff's academy was Israeli Krav Maga, and we stuck with it up until now. And if you don't know much about Israeli Krav Maga,
We should probably start doing that again.
we should.
Yeah.
It's a very direct and very particular way you approach your opponent. Well, it's not even an opponent. The person that's trying to violate your person. It's a very direct way to hurt an individual using the nervous system, the digits, pressure points,
Yeah.
articulating points on the body. It's very direct. People say it's cheating, but it's not. You want to eliminate the
I
threat
don't think there is such a thing.
as right.
Yeah,
If-
exactly.
If you're in hand-to-hand
You want to
combat,
leave.
Right.
your job is not to get winded and tired. And so my brother and I learned a bunch of things a lot of people don't, that are, not really a secret unless you really go and get the training. So the wife and I took it a step further. We mixed Israeli Krav Maga with jiu-jitsu, and we started to teach women
Self-defense.
self-defense.
Yeah.
And we were very successful at that shit. And I
There's a
think we want
really
to start it again.
there's a really nasty trick you can do with a thumb.
Oh,
I've brought
yeah.
down men to their knees
And I showed her a
with
nasty
just a thumb.
and I showed her a nasty
Yeah.
trick. I showed her a nasty trick what she can do with the web of someone's fingers. And it will absolutely have you coming out of your skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean,
so
with full pressure. I mean, it depends on how strong the person is.
right.
If the person's very strong, you can just break the person's hand.
Not necessarily. I disagree with that. It's not about strength. It's about
No, I know it's a pressure.
yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying if you apply pressure hard enough, it's very painful. And
it's
nothing
very
can
painful.
Oh yeah.
break
very.
the bones in between.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
here's the thing too. Here's what makes us masters at our craft. Her and I and my brother, we will never have to use what we know. That's what makes us the masters at our craft. Because we keep we keep our head on the swivel,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't put ourselves in situations
In that situation, yeah.
where
Exactly.
you have to even remotely think about using it.
Because nobody in a fight wins.
No one.
That's pretty true.
Both
Yeah.
parties are always going to get hurt.
My life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just, it's not
Can't say
a
that I
win.
lost, but but
Right.
no one was a winner. Right.
Right.
No.
But-
In a fighting situation, the only people who win are in a controlled area, in a cage, in, whatever. That's when you actually win a fight. In a street, nobody fucking wins a fight.
Everything hurts.
One survives and the other one got fucked up.
And you got fucked up too, because if you got to hit something, it hurts.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, sometimes people don't survive, and
Right.
Exactly.
I know people
Exactly.
who've gotten themselves into situations. They hit somebody and they hit the ground, and that your head bouncing off of concrete is
It's
pretty-
not
It's
fun.
not pretty.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was in the highlight of my fighting career, I was fighting almost every month. I was undefeated in all my fights except for one, and I remember just going out with friends and stuff, and it got in their heads like, oh, we're with Marelyn, she can defend us or whatever, and so they got like a little chip on their shoulder and started picking fights, and I'm like, no, that's not the whole point of this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to continue going out with you guys if you do this to me. I'm not here to protect your stupidity.
Right.
Your stupidity is yours to own.
Right. I ain't a fucking tool.
I'm not the one.
So that means I ain't even a friend to you.
Yeah,
I'm a mere tool.
You put me in a really bad situation.
Entertainment.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Apollo, baby?
Bang, bang, baby.
Shit. Hey, you got your shit looking right, bruh.
It's coming along a little better. I gotta get a rack and and some more synthesizers, some real ones.
You walking
the
away
ones
from away from Behringer?
The ones you got are fake? Are they 3D models?
The only thing I'm really super psyched about Behringer is I'm a huge fan of the Go XLR.
Uh-huh.
And I got some TC Helicon pedals, which Uli owns TC Helicon now. Mm-hmm. And a Go XLR 2 would be just make it 8 channels, 16 pads, make it waveable, 2 mic ins, 2 XLRs in, 1 XLR out. And bro, the masses will be lining up to pay $1,500 for that.
Yeah. 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 I like your setup,
what?
dude.
Yeah,
Out
looks
of,
good.
You mean
I
out of a
appreciate it,
synth?
guys. It's not bad for a noob, right?
Nah, it's not. What did you say, RDB?
Are you saying that you're looking to basically build an interface into the back of a synth?
No.
Is that what you were just
Who
saying?
said that?
What did I miss there? You were saying XLR outputs. What are you saying?
Yeah, the Go XLR.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I'm talking
what
about
is
the
Go
building of
XLR?
Go XLR 2.
What is Go XLR? Actually, I don't know.
Okay, you don't know what Go XLR. Go XLR is an interface usually used for by
Okay.
gamers.
Okay, I got you. No,
It's
I
got
can,
motorized sliders on it. It's got it's basically got the little Roland, what is it, the VT1 voice thing. It's got that built in. It's got all Roland AOS sound in it.
Oh, okay. That's
But
cool. I didn't know about it.
TC Helicon owns it, and Uli owns that. So it's kind of going out the wayside now. It's a little older unit. So an upgrade would be nice. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I follow you. Yeah.
A buddy of mine who's a gamer has one, showed it off, and it's pretty ridiculous.
So, what makes it so ridiculous?
What's that?
What makes it besides the voice chip? I guess what is it that makes that worth upgrading versus just getting like the Behringer, what is it, 1822 or whatever it is?
I could do this with it, on the fly.
That makes that makes
that's cool.
That makes that worth
That capture.
upgrading
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that with it. That's one thing it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's pretty useful.
instant capture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Panda would fucking love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go back and search shit. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I'm going to get this on the fly.
The only thing that sucks, though, about it is that when you push it and save it, it just goes into a dated file.
Yeah. So you don't
So
know what it is.
say you take like 40 or 50 samples in a session. It's just the dates and the times.
Oh, so you have to go back and like
You have to click on each one and play
That's
it.
a real
it's-
bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
that ain't that
It
fucking
depends on
bad.
how
though.
much
at
you're
least
hitting
they
the button,
did it.
though.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
at least it's dated.
Yeah,
though,
that ain't
you
that
know?
bad, though. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
At least if you're like, oh, I remember on this date. Okay, I'm just gonna look at these dates for that
Right.
specific thing. So
there'll be a calm with anything in life,
Yeah.
So,
And then
that's. I
it's,
mean, I think
it's-
that's good that they did that because otherwise, if they just did like
It's,
random
you know,
numbers, how
yeah.
would you know?
And oops, hold on. Why is it doing that?
Yeah, a lot of times that's what they do is they just do a string of random numbers.
Yeah.
I got
know.
so much stuff going on from that stream last night, but yeah,
Unless
the
you're sitting
interface
there
is pretty nice
capping-
on it.
Unless you're trying to capture a lot of samples. But
Right.
how often is anything worth sampling?
Shit on this channel, there's a fucking lot of shit.
Yeah,
We're
that's
sampling.
true. You gotta see some crazy shit.
We've been sampled quite often.
I'm sure.
we're sampleable.
Oh my god. Gracie is known to
Yeah,
sample
Gracie is
me
known
in
to
a lot of
sample her.
her songs.
Panda's known to sample me and my
Yeah.
fucking crazy dances. And,
We just say, checking my eyelids to make sure they're fucking eyelids.
Right.
Just bullshit like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I hit the points I wanted to hit as far as where symptoms of reality going. And, Scott McCauley Sounds is a huge part of symptoms of reality.
He's
and,
chilling like a
right,
villain in his
and-
hot tub right now.
And we we're
Nice.
not keeping things the same. We're moving on and we're collecting
Moving on
we're
up.
collecting people in this fucking snowball effect. And I know some people don't like, the way we've changed the channel, and I really don't give a fuck. So,
You gotta
Byron
keep
says-
evolving.
but you got to keep changing. That's
Oh,
in
that's-
nature.
I can tell you, as me being a fan,
Uh-huh.
what my opinion is about it. If you'd want to hear it,
I don't give a fuck about your opinion.
I know you don't, and that's the great part about it.
Right? Go ahead, Apollo.
Is this is way more enjoyable for me than the Ableton stuff.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ableton shit is pretty.
That monotonous and then all day long, well, is this
And you-
channel on? Go back to
you can't
this, and
handle
it's
that.
like, and I would support you, but guys, I got to be honest with you, I had to turn the radio on and just mute you guys.
Right.
But this,
Fuck
but
yeah.
this I can jive with the conversation.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. Creating the album live like that, it was an experience we tried. Like nothing's
Yeah.
gained if you don't try it.
Yeah, exactly.
was
You
unique,
don't know. Yep.
And we were trying to complete our first album with the entire community, incorporated in it, and it was worth the try. But
there was good things from it. There was bad things from it.
You learn and you go.
Yeah, and we move on.
And I think that's what Viral Beats was talking about too a few days ago. It's like we always have to continuously try to find a niche, and you don't do that if you just stay
You always
stagnant.
evolve, right? Like that's the premise of Symptoms of Reality. Just evolve. Doommonger said, "I sampled Marelyn." He did. You remember that one song? And this is why he will always be the closer.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny. Viral Beats said, "I was singing that this morning." Moving on up to the east side.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, my brother and I felt like we were going off of the course. And so.
But it's funny because you weren't. You were on the course that you were meant to be to find your destination now.
Right. I kind of like how you fucking said that shit, too. That's beautiful.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you kind of have you have to follow the universe when it tells you. You have to know the difference between the feeling from your chest, the feeling from your stomach, and the feeling in your head.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And ultimately, look, without anyone having to tell us, or I mean, like it would matter anyways, but without anyone having to say much, that course is turned.
Yeah.
And we're not on that course anymore. I think when I ultimately when her and I came in here and redid the studio, I think I knew then, okay, yeah, this is going to be a new course of direction for the channel. And we're not going back to the old ways.
Yeah.
We're going to,
and redoing that studio, man,
right.
that was...
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But it was a headache too,
because
you want things to be perfect.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a
thank
lot of
God
work.
for Scott and getting us through that fucking
with the whole rewiring,
and the setup and getting things to correlate. And there's still some things him and I are doing. So when we do go eventually someday this year and get to work on the album, it's going to be a hell of a lot more easier. And look, my brother can sit right next to me when he's here
and not be separated
by some god awful fucking partition.
And I'm much closer. I mean, people don't realize how close I am, but I'm way closer now than, and I can actually see you guys. Before I couldn't because I had so many things obscuring my view.
I know. So yeah, I think everybody in life like that's a life thing, right? Everybody has to look at themselves and go, okay, I've tried this. Now it's time for change. I still want to be on the same path.
Yeah.
But I need to change up the vehicle that's traveling down this path.
You got control. Don't burn anything down. I'm going to go use the little girl's room real quick.
Okay. And then we can play the video when we get
sounds
back.
Good.
Okay. All right, so we're going to do a review on a podcast I watched about a month ago of a world-renowned physicist who had a near-death experience, and he's just not some physicist. He created the internet back in the 80s. He was one of
that guy. Yeah, I've heard about this.
Right, one of the main guys.
Does he have a podcast?
He doesn't. He just does a lot of. He just goes on a lot of random podcasts, and his name is, and I keep butchering his name, Frederico Fagan.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And what happened to him was, I mean, the way he tells the story, which we'll show right now, is amazing. And how it changed his whole thought process as to what consciousness is, and who we are as human beings is right where I kind of believe, not even kind of, he's right up my alley. Him and Thomas Campbell share a lot of the same models that I come up with in my head. And I think to myself, wow, this guy literally has had an experience. He explains very well. He articulates the experience very well. if you haven't heard my brother's near-death experience and where he went to in this after-world life thing review, I mean, he even articulates his well, but Federico has a vocabulary system that's immense, and he's able to paint a very beautiful picture as to what he experienced, especially coming from a physicist's mind. And he was asked a question about what's after death, and it's a question a lot of people ponder. The way he answered it was mind-blowing on how he answered the question. I'm not going to spoil it. We're not going to play the entire podcast, obviously. It took some time to figure out how we can play this on our channel. And essentially what we have to do is we have to treat it like a reaction review. And so we can play 2 minutes at a time, and we can like talk about it for like 60 seconds, I believe, or less, and then play 2 minutes more and talk about it. So we're going to pull different clips from the entire podcast and kind of go through it and see how we all resonate with what this man is saying. But it's very profound, and I think he's spot on, you know, about consciousness and who we are as humans and what our purpose here is. So she'll be back here in a minute. Do any one of you think there's something after life, or do you think that's it? What we're experiencing now is it?
Yeah, I definitely believe that our consciousness stays alive.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be the same, but
it'll be.
You heard me yesterday. I mean, our existence is infinite, but it's not in the same condition.
Right. Yeah. I totally think it's not going to be like this either. Like sitting here talking to you guys in this third dimensional reality, thinking with a third dimensional mind. I think not only does our consciousness exist, everything transcends. Even the consciousness is going to transcend to a higher vibration. Or, hear me out, it may even go to a lower vibration depending on the individual's consciousness.
I'm kind of thinking it doesn't matter because it disintegrates in such a way that you're not going to be the same whatever.
Ego death and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I could get on board with that. Like everything we know here in this construct is just left in this construct.
I think so.
That's
my
it.
opinion.
But I still believe there is an essence of us that is aware that we platformed from that construct. We still identify that was an essence, that was an experience.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? There's still a roadmap there. Because if there wasn't, then what would be the point? What would be the point of evolving, even on a spiritual level or a consciousness level?
Because you continue to live through your offspring.
I could see that, but what would be the point of not knowing where one has been before?
They do, though.
Right, and I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, there's no way.
See what I mean? I mean, yeah, it is perpetual if you keep it going, basically.
Right.
Even if you don't have offspring, the fact that you can influence other people and affect other people's lives, that can have infinite reverberations.
Mm-hmm.
That can change a lot of things. I mean, I just read this weird story in People magazine, and some little girl was having a birthday party, and it was a kindergarten graduation party, and her mother asked her who she wanted to invite, and she said the first person she said was her bus driver, and it was some older guy.
Mhm.
And then like I guess her aunt was at this party and they took pictures and everything, but like the only person the kid wanted to hang out with was this old guy. I mean, I don't know if he had kids or not, but I guess he was having some positive influence, I guess, on this kid and changing
Compatible.
her life. So
That's compatibility. Like,
Right.
let's take Apollo Hanzo's tapestry right now, or that backdrop. Okay, this man could have chosen anything, a skull, maybe some crazy euphoric deer running through the forest, or maybe a picture of hard metal images, or it could have been anything to choose on that tapestry, the backdrop. But that man chose the galaxies. Subconsciously, if you look at a person and you really look at Apollo Hanzo, or you really listen to what he's playing with his music, or listen to him speak, he's telling you everything there is about his interface, about his avatar, about what he believes in, what he fancies, what he listens to, who he is as a person, who his friends are. I mean, look where he's hanging out. He's already identified who my friends are. He clicked on the fucking link, and here he is with his galaxy in the background. Those things, I believe, aren't random things. Like that little girl choosing the bus driver. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's something that we can't see here that ties us together. It binds us in this unified field. And if there was one thing off about any one of us right now, and that vibration was so fierce, we wouldn't be here. It would be a rejection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't see eye to eye with everything, but look at us. We're still fucking here, resonating at the same vibration. Like, that to me is like beyond measure.
Yeah, I agree. I concur, sir.
He said he concurs.
Tigro says energy doesn't dissipate. It just changes states.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about that alone is like, fuck.
It can travel.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
can travel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Vicky
Vicky would be really good to join in this
he
chat.
would be really great. Okay, let's play. We can skip the intro.
I have it ready.
Okay, yeah, let's play his outer body experience and what changed his thought process and physics.
Okay.
Tell us about a pivotal moment in your life, namely the experience you had at Lake Tahoe, do I pronounce that correctly?
Yep.
During your Christmas holidays of 1990.
Yeah. I wasn't happy. And I had reached everything that the world says that if you do all this stuff, you should be happy. And I wasn't. I realized that I was faking being happy because I needed to, because I was running a company. I had to be enthusiastic and everything else, but I was dying inside. So what's going on? What's wrong with this picture? And so consciousness then was, became center stage in my life, understanding that this consciousness somehow was also connected with feeling, desperate inside. So what's going on? So I wanted to understand what consciousness is. So that's when, and I wanted to understand it for my own sake, for not to do something about it, not to monetize, not to make a new technology, because before it was all about, doing something, and now all of a sudden I turn my attention inside because of the suffering. And it was in this climate that I had this extraordinary experience of consciousness. Now I can go to this Tahoe night, in 1990 during the Christmas holidays. We had a home up in Tahoe, which is Lake Tahoe is a beautiful lake, 2,500 meters, and there are mountains.
What he said earlier reminded me of what you said, what you said earlier, where you said, I was lying to people.
I was not happy.
It,
He thought he was happy. He had a company, he had a business. It's funny what we would tell ourselves, that we would say, this is what makes us happy.
right. You're convinced
Right?
of it. I think that goes with it, with anything though. Like work, your hobby, your significant other.
Right?
You know, it just goes like with anything. If you're lying to yourself, you're lying to everybody.
Period.
Yeah.
And skiing is great. And so, one night I woke up midnight, I was thirsty, went to get a glass of water, and went back to bed and was just waiting for, go back to sleep, and thinking nothing. And all of a sudden, out of the chest, just energy was coming out of my chest, but it was love. And it was love that was never felt before. It was love that was coming from me. How can love come from me? I mean, it was unthinkable that love could come from me. And it was 10,000 times more powerful than any love that I felt before. I mean, in fact, I never felt that love because it was unconditional love. Now I have a name for it. It was love. Period. Yes, it was coming from me, but it was love. And it was light. It was a white light scintillating. It was, like sparkles, and it was coming out. And then it explodes and it's everywhere. But it's everywhere, but my consciousness is there too. So not only my consciousness is within me, but it's also outside of me. And all of a sudden, I realize I am that. So I am the observer and the observer simultaneously. But I retain my point of view. I retain my identity.
It's so weird that he's saying that because I had this weird experience when we were, I think it was last weekend. We had just finished doing something and we had a little bit of time before we were going to go live on the podcast. And we were both so exhausted and we sat on the couch just to relax for a little bit. You fell asleep and I was falling asleep. I was like in and out. But at one point in time, I fell asleep, but I was still awake at the same time. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had in my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. I could feel myself when I fell asleep, but at the same time, I was still awake. I was still conscious about everything that was happening around me, the TV that was on, you snoring, Saren moving around. Like I was still awake, but at the same time, I was asleep. Mm-hmm. And I could see myself and feel myself asleep. And I could see myself and feel that I was still awake. Mm-hmm. It was the most...
Stuck in two paradigms.
It was the most bizarre, weirdest thing I have ever experienced in my whole entire life. It was nothing I've ever experienced, ever.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I'm asleep. Like, I'm asleep. But I was...
That's what it's like half the time I'm asleep usually.
Just
where
experiencing
I can hear
duality.
Everything going on around me. It's just, but I'm not getting the best, most restful sleep, but I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
But you're conscious of everything that's happening around you. Like if you were awake.
Yeah. One time, a friend of mine, I was asleep, and a friend of mine thought it would be funny if she ran in and jumped on my back while I was asleep. And, I don't know. So you took jujitsu.
Yes.
This was like a judo thing because she jumped on my back and it was all in one motion, and I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention before, but as soon as somebody was on my back, I just tossed her, and Man, it was pretty rough, but I was semi-conscious, like conscious enough to respond to the
Right. Yeah.
thing, but not like I knew like
Yeah.
how serious I should take the assault.
Oh,
So it was kind of rough.
Duality of consciousness.
It's so
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
weird. It's so I can't like it's hard for me to explain what happened and how I felt and what was going on. Because I think one for myself, I don't even understand truly what happened.
Yeah. I try to explain that to you all the time.
Yeah. It was the weirdest thing.
I was still the same kid of 5 years old or 3 years old kid that I was then, and that I am now. And so that identity, the only thing of me that remained was that.
Hang on a second. He's not coming up on the.
Hey,
He's got a
Gautier.
Hello.
Hello, my love.
Why is he
You
not?
beautiful bald bastard.
My love.
All right, here we go.
Point of view. And then I realized, oh my God, this stuff is the stuff of which everything is made. Everything comes from this stuff. And my body was hot, it was vibrating, like the cells of my body were resonating with this thing. Of course, the emotion, the feelings was love, joy, and peace. Because this stuff felt like, that's me. I'm at home. This is me. So I'm finally home. This is this is home. But so it was all mixed up. So you cannot separate this stuff. Love, joy, and peace. And then the mind was aligned, saying this is the stuff of everything is made. So I'm everything, but also the observer of everything. So I'm a point of view of one with which one knows itself. And now is the centerpiece of this new theory of consciousness that we may talk later about.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was a physicalist. I thought, basically, materialist because I study physics, and everybody knows the consciousness comes from matter, perhaps. We don't know how, but has to come from matter. What else can it come from? So, that was the mindset that I was. So all of a sudden, how can, no, this is before matter somehow, so this must be the beginning of it. So, that changed it, and that started me in a completely different, I went orthogonal in terms of my personal development and thinking while I was running synaptics, so that was fine, but I spent from that point on 30 to 40% of my time trying to understand what happened, and studying, doing meditation, figuring, anything that I could understand to understand what happened.
So he just had a paradigm shift. He's acting like a true scientist.
Yep.
The first thing he wants to do is try to replicate what happened to him
And understand it.
So he was like, maybe I should try meditation. How do I get back here? Clearly he doesn't want to do drugs. This guy is of sound mind. He's not going to be doing DMT, ayahuasca to try and replicate what he just experienced.
And you know what? And for me personally, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but I truly see dead people. And you've been a witness to that. And I've just seen really weird stuff. And personally for me, like, I'm afraid to do DMT and ayahuasca and stuff because I don't know what that would lead to and what it would open up.
How many more doors will it open
and
up?
I don't want any.
She
I don't
just
want
went-
any more.
You just come down from it, and then you see all the dead people. All
Yeah, fuck that.
I don't want exactly, and that's what I'm afraid of. Like it's tiring. It really is, and a lot of people may not understand it or think it's real or not, but. Perfect example, my old home in California. I feel like it was a portal of some sort because it was a nightly occurrence of something. Something was always in that house. And I remember one event specifically where I was trying to sleep, and every night there was a gentleman that came into the house and walked from the kitchen to the living room to the hallway where the bedrooms were and just rang a bell the whole fucking night. And it kept me up. And I was the only one that could hear it in the house. It was just my daughter and I at the time. She also can see certain things because she had a playmate that she would constantly play with when she was younger. But she never heard the bells. She never saw the gentleman. And after about a week of it, I finally was so frustrated. I jumped out of bed and I said, you need to leave. This is not your home. I can't help you. I don't know what you want, but I need to sleep. I think I said I need to fucking sleep because I was just so irritated. It's been a week without sleeping because it was fucking bells the whole time. And as soon as I just jumped out of bed and was very assertive with it, you can hear the bells go from the hallway, from the living room into the kitchen, and then from the kitchen into the backyard. And then it got progressively like quieter and quieter and quieter because it was going further away. And it never came back.
Yeah, that gives me goddamn goosebumps every time you tell that damn story.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And I've seen things since a child, since a young child. My grandmother used to always tell me that I saw things, and I was so descriptive in what I saw, and people would be like, yeah, that's my sister, or that's my mom, or whatever. And I've never met these people in my whole entire life. So for me, venturing into like DMT and all that stuff, I don't want it.
Right. And imagine this scientist now who thought consciousness came from matter. It came from the brain. And he had this experience. Why he would share that with his colleagues, who's ever going to take his peer review serious that he shared that now?
Yeah.
He took a risk on coming out just sharing what he experienced.
Yeah, because now they think that he's a lunatic, or he's crazy. Yeah, he needs medication.
Yeah, you could see it in him, and he was very conflicted as well with what was happening to him, to what his brain was used to thinking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it does get confusing when you see something that you just can't explain.
And then being set in your ways, and then to have something so profound happen to you.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I need to rethink some things.
How did he explain it?
Oh, yeah, we're going to finish it.
Sorry.
Are we going to we're going to continue on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on one second. I put him back up.
But that picture actually is the end. Now I can explain with this new theory of consciousness, I can explain exactly what happened and exactly why that is correct. Every single one of us is a field that is both the observer, the observed, and the actor. Every one of us is a field, and it doesn't exist this field does not exist in space and time. Space-time exists within these fields that we are, is us. So, this changes the paradigm, right? But we need a change of paradigm, because otherwise, if we are machines, like scientism is telling us, we are going to be taken over by the machines, the artificial intelligence that people will control, powerful people will control, and through those machines they can control us if we don't change our mind of who we are.
It will become a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Will become a self-fulfilling prophecy because we have not done the personal work to understand who we are. And we are not machines. The body is a machine, but it's a machine that is infinitely more complex than the computers, because it is a quantum and classical machine. It's not a machine like a computer.
So he's just saying we're better than AI.
Essentially. And he explains why that is.
I think music proves that.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No
I
kidding.
agree with that one.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
The trouble is, I guess, that AI is forever learning, and it is in a juvenile stage at the moment. So,
Yeah.
So are we.
well, we are very much so. But the thing is, AI is there and taught to learn. We are, a lot of the time, humanity doesn't use
It's
nearly as
Consider
much of
we
its
didn't even
brain
need to
power.
be taught. We didn't need
Yeah.
to be taught to learn.
Yeah, we just learn.
Right.
It's
So
crazy.
Is this quite an advantage?
how
Sorry.
AI can learn. Like it. So I use a lot of AI stuff for like the thumbnails, right, and the descriptions and stuff. And so it's learned. The module that I use has learned what I want. And so I literally don't even have to tell it specifically what I want. I can just go in there and be like, S.O.R live day, whatever. This is what we're talking about. And it gives me a full title, a full description, and a thumbnail that I don't even have to prompt. It just
That's pretty
gives it to me already. And sometimes in the descriptions, it'll give our specific names. And it knows that Marelyn is never in front of the camera. It's always behind the camera. So it makes it
It's weird.
it's so crazy.
It wants to learn and it wants to adapt.
But every time I go in there,
What is this?
this one is Chat GPT. The OpenAI Chat GPT. And literally all I have to do is, hey, it's me again. And it'll say, oh, do you want something for S.O.R? And I'm like, yeah, this is what I need. Today is day whatever. And either I tell it we're just chatting or we're just jamming. And then it'll spit out a whole thing that I need. And that's it. I don't have to give it any more than that. I just have to tell it what day it is. And it's for S.O.R channel, and we're either jamming or talking, and it'll do a full thing for me.
It's pretty scary, really, isn't it?
It is.
Really
It's very
scary.
adaptive. Go ahead and play what was right after that. Don't go to 14 minutes yet. Just right
Just
after.
continue.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to, it's simple to understand it. Every cell of my body is a part whole of the body. What do I mean by that? Every cell of my body has the genome of the egg that created the entire organism. So every part of my body has the potential knowledge of the whole. In this case, the whole is just the body. So we are holographic. We are holographic. We are made of parts whole. We have 50 trillion cells. Each has the potential knowledge of the whole organism. So a cell, which is a part, can change within its own life by taking advantage of the potential knowledge of the whole. That's why epigenetics exists. 20 years ago, if you said epigenetics, you would have put into the corner as a crazy guy. Okay, now we know that epigenetic exists. Why? Because every part is a part whole. So we, as human beings, we are fields which are part whole of one, the totality of what exists. Same pattern repeated at different scales.
Very nice. We are going deeper right now. And I think good.
It's fractal.
It's fractal.
Holograph.
And we can only see one. All we see is us and what we've constructed. That's all we see. That doesn't even equate to 1% about what this man is talking about. That's here. That's not observable through these eyes.
Some of us only see what's here.
Some of us. But essentially what he's saying is, I think RDV alluded to this quite a few times. You don't need a brain to have consciousness.
Right.
You could be a cell and have consciousness. And he wants to prove, this guy we're watching, he said he can prove it by this year, I believe, that trees have full-on consciousness like us.
Definitely.
I believe that.
And they don't have a brain.
I believe that.
They
Trees
definitely
are
have feelings, that's for sure.
man,
That's for sure.
there's-
That's for sure, Apollo.
You know what we should play next when we're doing this type of podcast is the experiments when they have either a plant or a snowflake or whatever,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
ties into music.
Music, yes. And how it responds to
Yes.
music. Okay, go. Let's jump to 14 minutes.
Okay,
And
14 exactly.
yeah, and what's the header on that?
It's still the theory of biology versus computers.
There we go. Right
Okay.
there. 14 minutes on that. Let's get
All
2
right.
minutes.
Here we go.
The fields. They are like a wave of the sea cannot be taken out of the sea.
But what many people, I think, and this we really need to clarify, I think, okay, in a cell we have proteins bumping around, which are in the end complex molecules. In a computer we have electrons that are also particles. What exactly makes the molecule particles within the cell quantum classical and a computer purely classical? Because I'd say, okay, aren't there quantum effects as well in computers that connect them to that field you were talking about?
Yeah, but the quantum effects are incoherent and they cancel out. So the quantumness is canceled out. The bit is the average of quantum phenomena. They cancel out, and then therefore first of all, the bit is not a physical thing, it's an abstraction that we have created. What is 0 and what is 1, we have determined. And as long as within the system, the 0 and the 1 as the simplest possible symbols can be recognized as 0 and 1, that's all that is needed. So if you maintain that coherence, but it's a classical coherence, because the 0 and the 1 are classical information that can be reproduced. A quantum bit cannot be reproduced. A quantum bit, when you measure the quantum bit, you get 0 or 1 in the direction in which you measure it.
Our consciousness cannot be reproduced. That's the problem with why scientists are having a huge issue with consciousness. You can't reproduce it.
We were just talking about offspring. I mean, my kid is not me, but it's as close as it gets.
Right.
It's a part of you,
Right.
Right. But
Yeah.
you can't reproduce it in some lab.
but it's not identical to you.
You
It's
can't.
not identical.
Right. You can't reproduce this. This is why science has a problem with consciousness. They say, and look how they weed this man out. It's tied to the brain. That's it. Bottom line. And he just had an experience where he was dead and his brain wasn't working. So what's at play here?
Well, I have a question, I guess. If you can't make an exact copy of your consciousness, I can accept that. But if you look at a cell on your arm, maybe just a skin cell, it'll be gone tomorrow. But the one that replaces it, is that an exact copy of the one before? I don't think so, actually. That's one of the problems.
Right.
Degradation.
I
But
would,
Cells are forever changing.
Yeah, but that's
Forever.
a cell, not a
Yeah.
consciousness.
but says who?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
says
Exactly.
who? A
Yep.
cell has to know its purpose. Am
Yeah.
I wrong about this?
No,
Hey,
it's
hey,
programmed
George.
with the purpose.
I think everything, like he was saying, what makes the computer
What's up,
not,
Georgies?
what makes the computer not a part of this conscious field that he's talking about? And the bit you can't recreate. I think that's the thing here is once one thing sheds its form of a life and something else replaces it, it's an automatic upgrade. It may look the same. It may know its task must be the same. But I believe wholeheartedly it's an upgrade of what was there before.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the next iteration.
Yeah.
You
So
know, Bob Moog wouldn't make a one synthesizer for the rest of his life, the same one over and over and over again.
in a way,
If you did, it should be a mini Moog.
Yeah. Exactly. In a way, nature with our offsprings should be an upgrade of us.
Yes.
Hence evolution, right?
Right.
We're either getting stronger or smarter or whatever. So it's a upgrade from us. So in a way, it is us.
Yeah, it is still you.
Yeah.
Like every time, right?
Every time.
Right.
Every time. Your
But
child, your
but you are not the same
grandchildren.
as you were
Right.
before.
Right. And there are some things that are shared too, like from the wound. If a mother's afraid of swimming, that information is downloaded into the baby. The baby's now afraid of swimming.
See, now that one I'm unsure of because I think it's learned behavior from a parent when.
It can be either. It
So
can
you don't
think
think
it'd be
the mother
both.
can secrete these things?
I think it could be both.
So if she's just afraid for no particular reason, just a unreasonable fear, I think it would be unlikely that would be transferred.
Yeah.
But it probably is transferred psychologically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Shona's got a proper fear of flying. And she got that from her mother. Her mother is they still fly,
Yeah.
but it's absolute hell from start to
And
finish.
it's a psychological effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that in the womb or is that observed out
that
of the
was
womb?
observed behavior that she picked up from. Yeah.
There's
Hypothetically. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're fine. There's been studies where they have followed children from womb till adulthood.
Yes.
And they've developed certain characteristics that were there in the womb and not taught
Right.
outside of the womb.
Certain things are,
You can
for lack of better words,
Yes.
downloaded into the fetus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we think we know how, actually. It's RNA.
Is it a protein?
Yeah. Basically, you're transferring through RNA. It's like an update right before
Yeah.
right before you have the kid.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
I think you transfer stuff in the womb. I really do.
Maybe not.
I mean, how can you not? Like, you're fucking cooking a human being in your
Right.
body.
that
Like,
DNA is that DNA.
Well, they use fruit flies to prove this. I actually gave you that article in the channel,
You
but
gave me a lot of fucking articles.
yeah,
I
I
know.
think he's on article 1 or 2 right now.
I must admit, I
Most
seen
people
them all
read
and
that
went, oh, fuck.
Did
that's
you,
too
Scotty?
much
Yeah.
I
for
was
one
like,
day.
fucking,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we doing here?
I saw them too, and I was like, "What the fuck? I can't keep up."
No, there's no need to
No.
apologize.
Between him and Inhibit, I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah.
I got so much to
Yeah.
read.
Well, we'll have to sift through it slowly. Yeah.
So basically, they did this with fruit flies, and they
Mm-hmm.
proved that with fruit flies, they could condition them to prefer ethanol-based food or food that contained ethanol. And apparently, the next generation and the generation following followed this without any, there was no upbringing their fruit flies.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they followed this pattern, and then it broke on the third generation.
Mm.
What?
Wow.
Why did it break?
Yeah. Why? did
It's
it work?
it's not clear. The other thing that they did, they being some scientists, figured out that plants that experienced severe cold
Mm-hmm.
actually pass along the information about what to expect climate-wise for the next plant, so then the plant
Yeah.
basically prepares defenses ahead of time.
That's crazy that you mentioned that, because I read you an article about, I forget what tree it was or something. It was letting this tree or these group of trees were letting other trees know that a certain I don't know if it was a climate change or something that was it was giving them a certain disease or something. It was letting the other trees know through their vines that this is coming. And then those other trees changed their characteristic
They're, yeah.
to defend themselves
Right.
from this
Yeah.
fungus or
Which is
disease that was coming.
wild. That's wild.
Now tell me that doesn't have some sort of consciousness.
Right.
That is pretty wild. But you know, latex rubber plants.
Mhm.
That's something that they've discovered is because tapping rubber has become so I guess abusive. You know, because they're trying to produce large volumes of rubber. So the trees actually respond by creating stronger and stronger toxins to, you know, poison attackers. So basically now if you have a latex sensitivity or allergy, but you didn't used to maybe 30 years ago,
Yeah.
it's likely because the trees they're tapping now are well more toxic. They've been conditioned and they've shared it throughout the rubber tree community to make these particular toxins. And it's apparently working because there's
Isn't that
a
crazy?
growing number of
Right.
people.
But there has to be a balance. Nature knows you can't keep abusing certain things.
Exactly.
I'm going to change the code.
Right.
Go ahead and hit play.
Okay.
But you have to set the direction, because if you don't know the direction, any direction that you choose, you will find 0 or 1. Is the Olivos theorem says that the maximum information that you can get from a quantum bit is a classical bit. The quantum bit cannot be known. The not cloning theorem says that you cannot clone even a quantum bit.
Yeah, once we want to know the quantum state, it will collapse in a state which is a 0 or 1, and we are in a classical world.
Yeah, but
information.
you are in classical. So quantum information cannot be reproduced. Quantum information cannot be reproduced. Classical information can be reproduced. We are quantum fields. What we feel within can be represented by quantum information. But what we feel goes beyond the representation. The representation is mathematics, is the map. What we feel is the territory, is what we feel is only within the field. That's how we know. The meaning is within us, is within the field, is not in the information. Physics, the information in physics has no meaning. And the problem with the current worldview is that if you start with this type of information, there is no meaning, then you cannot conclude that the universe is without meaning and purpose just because you have started that way. But in fact, if you start with quantum information, people cannot explain why you cannot copy quantum information. Why can I not copy quantum information? Then the new theory says consciousness and free will are foundational, cannot be explained with anything simpler, but if you start with that, you can explain why quantum physics must be the way it is. Exactly the upside. Again, the Silicon Gate technology turning around the problem. You go from here to there instead of going from there to here. And there is collapse of the wave function, which are free will's decision of the field, of the various fields that are interacting and creating this thing that emerges from these fields.
How many things you think on this that has been spoken about in the scientific world or layman's terms has actual fact to it, but no one can explain it? No one can prove it. No one can disprove it. It seems like there's a lot of things out there that we just can't provide proof for.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And we can't disprove it either.
mathematically he might be able to prove it, but that's again classical.
Zeros and ones.
Right. And that's for mathematics only accounts for tangible things. Mathematics does not account for things that we can't see. You can't quantify things you can't see because it's not there. It's not tangible. You have no understanding of it.
Calculus is meant to take the concept of things that you can't see or you can't enumerate and plug it in basically to the formula. So, if you don't know, you can calculate what should be there. Does that make sense?
It does, but it doesn't. Why are we calculating things we don't know? I already know what I don't already know. So how are we having equations for things we don't know? We don't know dimensions. We don't know what's at play. We don't know the will. We don't know
what was that song?
The essence.
I already know, but I don't know.
Manchester Orchestra.
Yeah.
It's man, I think some things is just not supposed to be known until they're supposed to be known. Because our minds will be fractured.
It's funny because I always say, you don't know that you don't know if you don't know.
Right. But how much would you want to know before your mind is literally fractured?
I don't want to know anymore.
We wouldn't be able to handle it. We wouldn't be able to.
I don't know. I think we would be able to handle it. I think
so.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think that most people don't have the capacity to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the way the cards are dealt.
Yeah. So that's kind of like everyday life, really, when you think about it and shit that happens that you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
People manage to get on and move on and learn from things, or a lot of people learn, a lot of people don't. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to what the human race is not doing that they are actually capable of. I would love to see what we're actually capable of doing.
So
if we can use the full power of our brain.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah. If we can use our full power of our brain.
Yeah, because we only use, I can't remember
very,
what the
very
percentage is.
3%.
It's tiny.
It's 3%.
Very little percent of our
3%.
brain. Yeah.
And if we use some very rare people use 7, and you know what they are? They're autistic, and they can't speak. You know what else they can do? Telepathy tapes. Go look at it. But if they say if we even use 8% of our brains, we would run so hot, we would spontaneously combust. Because the energy it's going to come from that will be immense. Trip out on that. Currently, as an ex-medic who used to put shock pads on dead bodies and bring them back to life, I was taught in medic school, the human body equates the same energy as a 2,500 BTU water heater in a household. That is a lot of fucking energy operating on 3% of brain power. If you increase the brain power to 8%, this body will not exist. There was a movie based on this about a guy who lived with electrolysis. The name of that movie was called Powder. And he just kept getting smarter. And more energy started to resonate with it. He lost all the hair on his body.
Wasn't that based on a true story?
Based on a true story.
Yeah.
And he got so smart and so intelligent, he turned into a fucking lightning bolt and projected off of this planet, obliterated his body. And that is a scary thing because when my medic teacher, his name was Jeff Gould, he was heavily into quantum science and shit and how sensitive the body was, this elaborate chemistry set. And if you don't take care of it with all the minerals and nutrients, the chemistry set gets out of whack and it just falls apart. It's a balance. But when I saw that movie Powder, I was like, holy shit. Maybe Jeff was onto something. The more brain power, we won't be able to live in this body. It won't be able to take the temperament. And there's actual case study of people literally, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, spontaneously combusting for no reason whatsoever, just igniting into a flame.
I've heard stories.
And dying.
It happens.
That does happen, yeah.
That's so insane that it actually happens.
Right.
And
Now-
we're here so nonchalant and like, oh yeah, that happened.
Right.
Somebody fucking bursted out in flames. Like
2,500 BTUs of energy going
Yeah.
through everybody. Fast forward to the question, what he thinks happens after we shed this body.
do you have a time
I
stamp?
do reckon the ones that spontaneously combust were made by Elon Musk, though.
He's a robot, don't you know?
That was 14 that I was playing.
No, it's towards the end.
Uh,
You'll see it. It has a.
what does it say?
The question is what life after death. You'll see it.
Oh, it's the what happens when we die.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We never were in the body. It's the body that dies. We don't die. We don't die.
But something changes, right? So because the satiety...
Of course, the satiety that... See, a portion of the satiety called ego is the portion of the satiety that thinks to be the body.
You might want to rewind it.
When the body... And so...
Go back to where he physically asked the question, because I think there was a couple.
I did the timestamp. It says...
Go back a little bit before that starts. That timestamp changed. Just a slither.
Okay.
We never were in the body. It's the body that dies. One wants to know itself, right? So the moment that one knows itself, it has to know completely itself, because it's not made of parts. It cannot know a part of itself. It has to know the totality of itself. But to know itself, it has to, you have a flash, and it cannot happen in different times. It has to happen in an instant that knows itself, in its own totality. In that instant, it creates a part whole of itself.
Just like a meiosis, right? The splitting of cells.
Absolutely. That's where life takes form. Life is the reproduction of one. It's so fundamental that it is the reproduction of one. One knowing itself creates another one, part whole though, because it creates many, so it cannot be the totality. So it cannot copy itself, but it creates what it saw, what he got, what he understood itself to be. That's the identity of the field the one has created.
It's not a copy, you say, but it is a part whole.
One is looking at itself in one direction, and one is infinite direction in which it can know itself. The next time that it looks at itself in a different direction is another part whole, is another monad. Leibniz got it right. Leibniz was the only philosopher, scientist, mathematician, technologist. I mean, it was an incredible mind. He got it right. He understood that, but it was before quantum physics. It was, it was way before, we could make sense of it, but he got it right. And I call him, before I knew, because I didn't study philosophy, I got into what philosophers have been saying by inner experiences, and then thinking about it, trying to understand them scientifically and understand them rationally. And I found that many people have said the same things that I came up to through this process, to this inner process, not by reading books and repeating what I read.
Yeah. So the satiety, that is sort of...
The satiety is what I call a field that is conscious and has free will and wants to know itself. I call them satiety to distinguish them from the quantum fields, which don't have consciousness, free will, and don't want to know themselves.
That's the thing, too, to know. And I know you guys heard me say that a lot, to know thyself. That's always the number one question to anything that I can ever think of is, who am I? Or what's my purpose? Where did I come from? Everything has to do with I. Oy, Scotty.
What up, EchoCraft? Studio 8 FX.
That's the main thing I think we all have to keep asking, who am I?
EchoCraft, I think, is a vampire.
He is a vampire.
So I think what
He's a daywalker.
When he was describing the difference between classical and quantum, he's really describing the difference between thought and writing.
Right.
So
Yeah, he's
thought
not
is fluid. It can't be, reproduced outside of your head.
right.
Except for when you write it down, but now that's classical data.
And he's not, like he said too, he's not just reading something and reciting it and equating that to his learning.
True.
You know what I mean? People who do that, and it's called something when people like Terrence Howard, who are not taught the foundations of science, but they come up with their own models because they're smart enough to, but they they're missing foundational steps. There's a particular name for that when a person is so smart they miss steps that they get straight to the point, but they're missing so much. It's being smarter than what you. It's thinking you're smarter than what you actually are, and there's a name for it. It's called something theory. I'll think of it.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of it right now.
Go ahead and
The more you try to figure out, the more it
eludes
you.
itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
So, but they have all the characteristics of the quantum fields in the terms of what you can explain of them based on physics.
That's it, Bicky. I fucking love Bicky. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
There you go.
Go ahead.
Leave it at Bicky.
But they go beyond that because their inner life, is beyond physics. So physics can only explain qualia, which is the entry point to the inner world. But from qualia to meaning, as I said, there is comprehension, then meaning, is all new physics. And new physics can only go up to a certain point, and then you have to leave even physics. It's got to go to what we now call metaphysics, but it's what can only be known from the inside. But, it will take many centuries to go through. But the key thing, though, it shows that physics now is incomplete because it doesn't even allow the inner world to exist. And the reason why they struggle for 80 years to unify quantum physics and general relativity is because the fundamental concepts of time, space, matter, and energy are wrong. They're almost right, but they're not exact, not so close to the truth that they allow you to bridge those, to bring together into a unified physical field what is now two separate, one is a set of fields and the other one is the, space-time.
Yeah.
And gravity. Yeah.
And if we say the satiety is
the state is who we are.
yeah, exactly, it's who we are, right? And
Yeah. It's a quantum field with this characteristic.
Yeah.
But an identity, my identity is how one has seen itself when he created me.
yeah. Oh, exactly. You're like a frame at a certain moment of the universe.
Yeah. Imagine, it's a beautiful way to understand this. Imagine that you have a multidimensional thing, okay? It's a multidimensional object, multidimensional meaning in n, where n is potentially infinite dimensions. How can you know this object? You can know this object by looking at this object through all the dimensions that are orthogonal that allow you to look at this object.
Okay. We're going to fast forward to him answering the actual question of
What happens when we die?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the original time step that I had.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
We never were in the body. It's the body that dies. We don't die. I mean,
But something changes, right? So because the satiety...
of course, the satiety that... See, a portion of the satiety called ego is the portion of the satiety that thinks to be the body. When the body... And so it looks at the information that the body provides about what? About this other world seen through the body. So our senses, our brain, takes information from here, but a most small part of information. I mean, just the visual thing that we see, it's this narrow band, right? I mean, if I had cell phones instead of eyes, I would actually now be able to listen in to the 30,000 conversations that are going on that are here. They're all here.
Yeah.
And I could see them, I could hear them, I could do this. But I only see this band. There is no communication in this band. There are other stuff, and we see this world. We construct it with the body. The output of the body, which is in the cells, is quantum. That quantum output is what the fields perceive as color, for shapes, sounds, and so on. The qualia do not exist in the body, they exist in the field. And the qualia is this, are representable with quantum state. Quantum state is how the quantum field translates this information in the cells, which is, I call it live information. It's a type of information that has not been studied at all, not even imagined at all, which is in between quantum information and classical information. It is the stuff that makes the cell work. Because if you take an electron is matter, energy, and information. Can you separate these three in an electron? Is it elementary particles? There you go.
Echo says, doesn't that tie into string theory? Yeah, I think a portion of it does, but I think string theory is letting down the science community, because nothing yet, and I'm sorry, Michio Kaku, but nothing yet has derived from string theory. It's been the biggest theory that has contributed nothing to science. You know, it has some things right, but what has string theory contributed to science? Quantum physics contributed
a few mathematical equations when it comes to making quantum physics, quantum mechanics, astrophysics, all work together. So that's why they still mess with it, because it's given them a loophole shortcut in a few mathematical equations.
Right. I do agree with that.
Vicky said string theory is just going around in circles, wasting grant money.
Yeah, it is at the end of the day.
Well, but you know, nothing physical or tangible has come from it. The cell phone that didn't come from string theory. You know, Tigro is going through a bunch of synchronicity. We were talking about this the other night on a different level, and I stumbled upon a countdown version of this. Oh, no shit. See, synchronicity seems to be a thing that I've been coming in contact more and more lately. I mean, synchronicity can be looked at as a string theory product.
Well,
if we kind of want to get string theory involved.
His ideas are interesting. I mean, the things he's talking about are actually the same stuff that it's the same stuff that we were talking about, where, you know, after death, you're not going to be the same. You won't have your ego with you. So, but you'll still be some entity, right? Some energy. So more, I guess, so before, like, I guess not long before my mother died, I explained to her everything I understood about how everything worked. And it was, I mean, she heard me explain some things in the past. And, well, actually, you were just talking about, like, blowing your mind from too much information, and it made my mother physically ill at one point. Because I just dumped too much information on her, and she said, you know, gave her a headache and made her sick to the stomach. So, but, you know, later on, anyhow, I had this conversation with her. We knew she was, you know, on her way, and I explained to her everything I understood. And it's kind of funny, but science appears to be catching up to that idea that everything is actually information, that everything is information, and that part of the reason why you have synchronicity, part of the reason why you have the telepathy or the ability to remote view or see the future or whatever the case is because it's all been previously encoded. So whatever happened at the moment the stream was generated, basically that's
It
how
happened
it
already.
follows.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that, because I always say that dreams are just what we've already experienced in a parallel universe.
It's the only time to access it.
We've done that in our dream, whatever it was. We've already done that, and we're just tapping into it.
Yeah, I always wonder what happens if, when we end this stream in a few minutes here, when me and Marelyn walk out of this door and I decide to go left to the street versus going right randomly.
What that action changed?
What that action changes.
Changed in the future?
You're already going to do it.
Exactly.
Now,
or you're
it's-
already not going to do it.
Okay, so right. What's being premeditated there? I could say I'm going to go out here, and because I want to change my path, instead of going right to the house, I'm going to go left to the street because there's nothing there. I don't have an agenda there. I don't have any reasons to go there.
But what's crazy is by doing that, you change something already. By just talking about it, you've changed.
And that's the
something
qualia.
already.
That's the quantum thinking, right? Just by
Thinking and speaking it.
Decided. If
It's
you
been decided. Now
Yeah.
what?
decided, that's classical.
Now we're in a Schrodinger's paradox, right? Because now I'm trying to put myself in a state of unawareness of, am I going to go left? Am I going to go right?
I already know.
Who or what makes the decision? I said I'm going to go out here and go left just for shits and giggles. But what if I don't? What if I just go right and go, let's just get in the house?
But at this moment in time, speaking it, you've done both.
And see, you've already altered the future by saying that.
Yeah, you've gone left and you've gone right and you've done none of it
But
all at the same time at this
I
moment.
reckon you go out and you dance around your fire pit like an Indian or something like that.
And he's done that before.
And I've done that before. Yeah.
He has made fire.
But Apollo, how have I done it when there's no action?
I'd imagine because the universe is infinite.
Yeah. I agree. You've already done it. That action has happened already. Both of them, and none of them has happened at this current moment.
Because
What-
it hasn't
what-
been
this would
observed.
But what if this happened? This would really blow your mind. What if you went left, and then all of a sudden, it materialized your brother, and he went right, and then it beamed him from wherever he was at right now. Was it California or wherever? It beamed him, and then he was there, and then you were both doing that. That would be some twin shit, wouldn't it?
That would be.
That'd be more than just twin shit,
That
Apollo.
would be.
That'd be like on the 9 o'clock news.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh no, you guys couldn't tell anybody about it. They'd have. You think it was bad before with those tests? Shit, they'd have you in a white
Right.
building this
Yeah.
time. They'd have you under the
Shit.
building doing tests on you boys.
yeah, for real. But okay, so look,
Okay, so
what
Echocraft-
Apollo just said, hang on.
But Echocraft just said
hang
that's
on.
part of living in a quantum bubble.
Okay, that is. So hear me out. How many of you remember the movie Quantum Leap?
Yes, I
well,
love
yeah.
the series, the TV
Okay.
series.
Series,
The
yeah.
So,
series, yeah. I
How,
loved it.
how long ago was that, Meryl? How long ago was that?
Oh my God, that was like in the
35
80s,
years,
wasn't it?
35 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 80s.
Okay. Where quantum entanglement and quantum science wasn't really prevalent like it is now, correct? So
It was not applied very
Okay.
well at the time. Yes.
I happen to believe a lot of things in Hollywood are them telling us these
The
things
future.
are right.
Yeah.
And these things are actually
Quantum Leap
true.
was 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
When the guy Frederico Fagan, who we just watched, was just getting cracking into the quantum world
With
and
the
internet.
Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula.
I fucking love that series. Quantum Leap was my favorite.
So how far off do you think Apollo really is?
Not at all.
That's what I'm talking about. There's some validity to this.
Well, what you said before about nothing happens until it's observed, it's correct.
That's the Schrodinger moment, right? Schrodinger's cat.
It's even what the gentleman was just saying is you are both the observer and the observed.
Mm-hmm.
But without your observing, right? Without you doing something and committing and then recognizing that you've done that, then it hasn't happened.
And it's
It's
also
obvious,
happened
but
at the same time.
On one level, it seems obvious, but
Re-echoes.
Hang on one second. Let me get there. The Jean Roddenberry claims that everything's already happened. That's where he got his idea from Star Trek. I believe that. I believe everything has already happened. We live in like these level of
Echoes.
universes.
Are we echoes? Are we already dead and living memories?
At the same time, yeah. I believe so. And I think that's where that that whole oh my God, I just had a deja vu moment.
Uh-huh.
It's because you had already lived that moment, but just in another universe. You didn't know. And now in this universe, it happened to happen at the same time, exactly the same way as the other universe did. And that's where you get that, holy shit, this is deja vu. I've done this already.
Right.
It's infinite, though. You could have just done it in the same place, in the same universe, just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right.
By so much time that you just couldn't possibly recall.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating what Tigrel's saying. Can you separate the observer from the observed?
I think I had that moment
When you were on the fucking couch.
And I say yes, only because of my experience. I experienced that. I was both the observer and the observed at the fucking same time. And I felt like I was on fucking drugs when that happened. And I wasn't.
Right.
It was the most insane, bizarre thing I've ever experienced.
Sometimes you get a glitch in the system.
It was crazy.
That there's a cheat code to this.
It was so crazy. I don't want to experience it ever again.
Right. Because, and I can't believe I'm going to tell this fucking story. And I don't, you guys know me. I don't bullshit for the most part. We were living in Wyoming.
That was fucking insane.
I came out of the shower. Okay. When I went into the shower, Marelyn was sitting on the couch. She told me she got up off the couch, went into the room. It was time to head to bed. We had to work early the next day. I came out of the shower, and as I'm walking into the master bedroom, you have a direct look into the living room. She is sitting on the couch, I shit you not, watching TV. So I started talking to her. I said, I don't even remember what I was saying to her. But she saw me talking to her. Now, Marelyn's sitting on the couch. She never turned to look at me. She's still watching TV. And I'm looking at her as I'm talking to her. And then from my right ear, Marelyn goes, who are you talking to? And I look into the master bedroom and I see her on the bed. And that's when I probably almost...
Oh, you lost your shit.
That's when my mind, I believe,
he lost his fucking
almost broke.
shit. Yeah.
I almost broke my fucking mind.
You've never seen a black man go completely fucking white. And I was like, oh my God.
He knocked his dick right off the floor.
Oh my God, Apollo. My dick was on the floor.
He was like, what the fuck? There's two of you. And I was like, there's only one of me.
So when I looked at her, I was in such shock, I couldn't even think properly.
Yeah.
Then I turned my head instantly to look in the living room, and she was not in the living room as I'm talking to her.
It took about like a good couple of minutes for me to bring you back. Like you were just somewhere not here, and it took me a few minutes.
I don't know what happened to me.
It was insane.
To be fair, that's pretty fucking freaky, though.
Yeah.
It's beyond freaky. I mean, I wasn't on no drugs or nothing.
No.
Like, this is the time in my life where
we didn't even have wine, nothing.
Right?
It was.
And this is one of the most profound times in my life where
it's still very unexplainable.
It's still unexplainable. It still fucks with me a lot. I'm terrified that it would happen again to me. And to see, they in science, they say one object can't occupy the same space at the same time. I hope I'm not butchering that. But fuck, man, she was sitting on the fucking sofa. I'm having a conversation with her. She says, "What are you looking at?" I turn in the master bedroom. There she is, getting ready to get into bed. And she even had a confused look on her face. As to like, no, what you say? And who were you talking to? It stuck with me for weeks.
It's been years.
I've told no one about that.
It's been years since that happened. And it's still so unexplainable.
Yes,
I told no one about that
big
shit.
Trip.
And then that's when I knew, okay, there's something weird at play.
And I only knew, for me, because I didn't experience what he experienced, the only reason why I know it was true was because of the aftermath. Like the physical stuff that happened to him, the literally going pale, like his face, the color just completely vanished.
I remember my eyes being so wide and my mind, I felt like my mind,
man.
This is a weird thing to say.
Your eyes
and I'm
glossed over like you were not there.
I don't have the words to explain how my mind felt. So just do your best to try and understand what I'm saying here. But I literally felt like my mind was fracturing. Mm-hmm. Not in the sense of like mental breakdowns, middle-age crisis, but I felt like my understanding of everything was systematically breaking down. Mm-hmm. Like my mind is, I don't even know how to use the words. It just felt like I was fracturing. Mm. There wasn't a pain that came with it. There was utter confusion. There was utter chaos. Mm-hmm. And I was in a point to where my mind had literally seen something it had no answers for. And it went,
confused.
Not computing. We're fucked.
Yeah. Reboot. That's how like you looked. You looked like you needed to reboot.
Right.
Like your face, like I said, the color of your face just like completely went to pale.
I felt very faintish too.
Yeah, and
like
your eyes just like glossed over. Huh?
I might have an explanation.
Which is?
What we do in our brains, we make things as we expect them. So even if it's not, if it doesn't go down like you thought it would, your brain will make you believe
convince you it is.
Right.
Yeah, rendered. Yeah, rendered. Quick render,
exactly.
of course.
Yeah.
However, in his case, he sat there looking at her, talking.
Right.
In two different places.
So the
for over a minute.
That render is only going to last on a Robert Redford double take.
Right.
Yeah,
for over a minute, Apollo.
Yeah, talking to two different Marylands at the same time.
Illusion works on this basis, right? It exploits the limitations of your mind because you expect certain things to have occurred in ways that you expect them to occur. So they do otherwise, but your brain fills in the blanks and says...
But couldn't that have been his brain tapping into a universe, a different parallel universe that he shouldn't have?
Like maybe she didn't go to the bedroom?
Hey, maybe you guys have already been through that cycle.
Exactly.
And you were actually sitting in there.
Like
I actually stayed in the living room in that other universe.
I could jive with that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just so close on the two planes of existence.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Is it like sliding doors? You know that film, Sliding Doors?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could jive with that.
Studio 8 Effects said 404. 404 error. Yeah, literally.
But maybe that was like, it hasn't happened since. You would think if it was like my mind playing tricks, I would have experienced this.
The only thing that I've experienced close to yours was here in this house. Mm-hmm. And I told you and Lamar about it. You both fucking freaked out. Mm-hmm. You're like, stop telling us this story. But you two had left. I think you had maybe your allergy shots and we needed grocery shopping that day. So you guys were gone for quite some bit of time. Mm-hmm. And it was just me in the office because I was working and Saren. Saren's always in the office with me. Or in the hallway. Like he's never not close to me when you're gone because he's on high alert. It was a couple of hours since you have left. All of a sudden, I hear you. It's your voice, clear as day, calling me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even hear because in our driveway, we have this little bell. So if anybody crosses it, we can hear it. I didn't hear the bell. So clearly you didn't drive through the driveway, but I heard you clear as day. Mads, where are you? And I'm like, what the fuck? Not only did I hear it,
The damn dog heard it.
but the fucking dog heard it. As soon as I heard it, Saren gets up, props up his ears, walks into the hallway, expecting you to come through.
Right.
And so I was convinced you were home,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't hear the bell or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I get up to go and look for you, and the house is fucking empty. So not only did I hear that, Saren heard it too.
See, and this is why Echo said this is why he chose his name, that we're living in
Mm-hmm.
constant states of echoes.
That was in fucking insane.
And you just had an echo moment. But here's what drives me bonkers. The fucking dog heard it too.
Not just me, but the dog heard it.
Come on, Royd. Where's your fucking answers? Give us answers. Why is the dog hearing it too?
That's fucking wild. Because that's the only reason why I reacted to Get Up was
Is it
because
possible that it was seeded by a stray sound that just happened to be in the vocal range?
no.
I mean,
No,
I like-
you
I like you
hear
trying
his,
to come up
you
with-
hear his
yeah.
voice, how deep it is.
I'm doing my best, man.
Yeah.
And he said, Mads, where are you?
Yeah. And that dog knows too. Like,
He knows your voice.
and if he got up and does his normal thing when he hears my voice,
Oh my God.
that's creepy.
That's the only reason why I got up, because I was convinced you were home, because Saren moved to go look for you. And then I went to go look for you, and nothing was fucking there.
Okay, Biscuit said, or did the dog pick up on your reaction?
No, because I reacted because the dog reacted.
Oh, well, shit.
That was the only reason why I reacted.
So you were like, I thought I just heard something.
I thought it was just me. I was like, oh, fuck,
but
it's
because
just me.
Saren reacted, you're
That-
like, oh, so he must be home.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys were just reinforcing each other, and neither of you would have reacted unless you both agreed and reacted.
But he reacted first. The dog reacted first.
I know how that played out. She's at her desk
Yes.
doing her work. And when I call her most of the time, she just she sits there
and I just wait.
wait for me to come in.
Because I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I'm working. You come to me
Right.
when
And
you
that
need
dog is
something.
always coming first to me before
Yes.
I get in her room.
Yes.
So
Always.
that I know for a fact because
Yep.
I've constantly witnessed that.
He's always the one. He's very protective over me.
He
and
is.
and so he always reacts first. He always goes in front of me. He's always like just seeing and watching and smelling. And I didn't react because I thought it was just in my head. I didn't think it was like out loud. I thought it was something that I heard in my head until Saren reacted.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, it's not in my head because he clearly heard it too and went to go look for you.
So as far as what I've seen, Echo thinks I was on a different plane. He also says dogs and cats always hear things that humans can't. However, you heard something that was on the same frequency that has to do with quantum physics. That does.
And Vicky, see, there's no
if it
way
was
to
a
know.
sound that was similar to Lamonte's voice, the dog would be able to tell a difference from that for a start.
Yes.
Because
he wouldn't react.
the dog probably would have reacted, but not in a nice way. But if he'd heard something that wasn't Lamonte.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Which he has before. Like when,
And he barks.
when Lamont isn't here and I'm just home by myself, that dog is on high fucking alert. The Amazon driver can come and he sees him in the window and he does his thunderous barks. And he never does that if Lamont's home.
Yeah, if I'm home, the Amazon driver shows up,
He's fine.
he's fine. Won't say anything.
If it's just Saren and I, he is literally like, he's like, okay, I have to be guard dog. I'm on the job. And he is just super high fucking alert.
I mean, and I get human instinct, but at what point do we humans stop trying to come up with things they taught us in school about what it could have been or what it should have been? When do we give in and finally say to ourselves, okay, there's something going on that we can't explain and it's fucking real? How many more days are we going to say, math can explain it, or it's just a coincidence.
I would love to say that math can explain fucking everything.
Well, if it was already
Yeah, so do the scientists.
Right?
that kind of explains everything at that point. If it was already written.
But
Yeah.
how long are we going to try to come up with excuses as to what we've seen and we know in our gut that wasn't possible on what we've been taught, but yet we saw it. And we try to compartmentalize it and bury it.
100%. Yeah.
Vicky says he wants a T-shirt that is printed with "Just say no," or "Now." Just say now.
Oh,
Yeah,
just say
just
now.
say now.
Just say now.
I honestly wonder when the, I don't know, conspiracy, I guess you could say, began. You know, when people started lying to themselves. You know, are they lying to themselves or lying to each other that certain things just aren't possible and don't exist because every single day we are all using them and exploiting them, and so are the other organisms around us. So why do we pretend?
Right.
Which sometimes I wonder if people who have been diagnosed schizophrenic or whatever are actually seeing things that are really true.
Right.
It's possible.
My
Right?
brother and I always thought that.
People that had
It's like just
schizophrenia
because
were not seeing things that were real.
Right.
yeah, just because we don't see it.
It sure looks like they're seeing it, don't it?
Right?
And no one believes them.
Well, they're schizophrenic. Why would you want to believe?
Right, but that's
They've
what we
been quote
classify.
unquote.
We did the same thing with autism.
Okay, so
We
back.
classified it as schizophrenic.
Okay, so perfect example. I would be classified as a witch back in the day
yeah, you would be.
because I can see fucking dead people.
And some scientists were
don't-
classified as witches because they were showing people science in their
Right.
That's true.
Exactly. And just by talking about it, we would all be heretics.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Actually, just 30 years ago, it was really not cool to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You would be marked, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Blacklisted.
Yep.
See you later, Echo. We're gonna be heading out too. We need to cook some dinner.
Yeah, I gotta get some stuff ready. Get her. She got a long work week up.
Yeah,
And then my brother and I take off in about
next week.
next week, the following week.
So not this coming week, but the following week. Yeah.
So
So Scotty and I are going to be controlling the S.O.R YouTube channel. Scotty, we got to communicate here soon to figure out what the fuck we're doing.
yeah,
Exactly.
just give Scotty the keys so he can drive
Yeah, they leave the 26th.
27th through the 30th.
Well, you giving me the keys to a Ferrari?
Yeah, you get
Sure,
the
why
keys to
not?
the Ferrari. dude.
You can have the dirt
Yeah.
bike too in the garage. It needs to be written anyways.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who don't like that, Scotty.
Yeah.
Like who don't like Scotty having the keys to the kingdom.
Oh fuck!
Who
what?
don't like
Who's
What?
they?
who doesn't
Who
like
who's
Scotty
they?
here.
Hey,
I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna drop.
What
I ain't gonna
sinners
drop.
are these?
I ain't gonna drop no names. You know.
Show yourself in the chat right now.
Yeah.
reveal
gonna-
yourself.
I ain't gonna drop no names.
That's
because
funny. So then we should give Scotty all the keys.
Yeah. This motherfucker should just take S.O.R and just run with it.
Oh shit,
we'll see you
man!
next year.
They're really gonna hate when it's just Scotty and I on the live.
Oh my God, Scotty, you put the S in SOAR.
I think,
Right.
I think what we should do is when me and Meryl are doing it, I sit behind the computer screen as well, so everyone's just looking at
Oh
two
my God,
empty
yes.
rooms.
Oh my God, yes! Oh yes. That'd be amazing.
2 empty chairs.
Oh fuck
Fill
yeah!
in the blanks, you monkeys.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
can even
wait.
set up my laptop. I'll put my MacBook
Mm-hmm.
on as well, and we could just have an empty room there, and we'll just call that one Black Jeebus.
There you go.
Can you guys use ChatGPT to make like a 15 or 20 second loop of a couple of stick figures and then just put them overlay on the chairs?
Oh, or a couple of
yeah,
monkeys.
yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of monkeys.
A couple of monkeys.
I bet
just
you
put it on
could.
loop. You could just put it on loop.
Yeah, I could do
Oh,
some
you guys don't have a
PNG.
stream. You guys don't have a stream deck, do you?
No, we don't.
No, but Streamyard. I think Streamyard you could do that.
Do you have a keyboard that has macros on it?
No.
Yeah, you would need that.
Apollo, it took him 5 years to get a fucking keyboard and mouse.
No. No.
It took
That,
me.
No,
It
that
took
was for
me
him.
5
Yeah,
years.
yeah. I had a keyboard and mouse already. It took him that.
It took me 5, which I'm in personal computer classes with Scotty. So there.
Yeah. But I could create a loop and oh my God.
I bet you could put monkeys in these chairs.
No, I could do it for you. I could even make it. But you would have to have a macro button, and you would have to use OBS for the overlays. There's no getting around it. You have to.
But
use
I
OBS.
think StreamYard I could do overlays.
Can you make them transparent? Put filters on them though.
If they come in transparent.
So does it? Oh, if they come in.
Yeah.
It don't have no chroma key on it.
No. If you send them to me as a PNG, it'll be fine.
Oh, I guess I would just put that over a white background, right, Scotty? Not a black one, a white one, right? I'd put that over a white background.
It'd be transparent.
Yeah, but
you
better be a transparent background.
Yeah. Just like our symbol right here that Scotty made.
I see. So
Yeah,
just crop it.
So if you've done it
transparent.
with a white or black background and sent it to me in Discord, I could. You can do it in Photoshop, you can basically just remove the background from it and just leave whatever else you want in there, and it's just like a clear background. So it's transparent, basically.
Is this where the cameras will be?
It needs to be saved as a ping, because if you don't save it as a ping,
You have to.
Yeah, it won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
And then you could just do like a video loop in DaVinci.
So I had a question before we all get off. I had a question for Scotty.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, I know. Are you familiar with a program called Keysight?
Keysight?
Yeah, Keysight. So it's on Steam. That's where you get it. It's privately made, and it's what the fellers be playing the keyboards, and then it puts those bars up, and it's all it shows all the keys coming up through the things, and got them graphics and stuff.
Right, okay, for the tutorials and things.
So I've got it close a couple times. I got it all running good. Everything runs great on it. It's a great, and all it does is it just takes MIDI, or it'll drive MIDI visually, but no sound. So
right, okay.
There's no sound. It's just, so you could get you can go get a MIDI file, right? Of Chopin or something.
Yeah.
And then you can put that MIDI file in that, and then it'll come down to the keys, and then you can play
so
along.
You can learn from that,
to learn. But what I got it for was to play, so it's opposite. So when you play, it shoots up and out.
Yes, there's like guys on YouTube that use that for like tutorials and things like
Yeah,
that.
they do. Yeah.
So my problem is with all these webcams, and I can get close using my cell phone on one of those cell phone arms, but getting it layered over the keys perfectly is a pain in the ass.
So you're on about like a vertical look straight down on the keys?
Yeah.
Right, I can send you in Discord, because I don't know whether you'll be able to see it here. I wonder if my camera will follow me.
It should.
Yeah, it should.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
You'll see this pole here. I'm pointing to here. That's got a camera on it, but that pole is fixed to my roof.
It's fixed. Yeah.
So I'm not fucking tall enough to make it look.
You're not Lamont.
You short bastard.
You need Lamont.
Yeah.
If I just do it by hand here.
There you go.
So that is actually like bolted to my roof. And it's like a telescopic pole with a camera on the end of that, and that just looks straight down on my keys. So when I do my demos for my sound banks, that is the camera I use for the vertical look straight down. And it is literally it was only I think it was 20 odd quid. It wasn't a lot of money for the vertical pole, and then you just screw it. It's just a normal camera fixing on the bottom that you just basically put, and then that way, all you're doing is having to position your keyboard to make sure your keyboard's bang on in line with the camera.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's where I got the closest. I'd line it up and it'd just be a little off, and then just moving the keyboard around a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm using one of those flex ones. The flex ones
it'll
that's
bounce
got the
about
girl.
and move. Yeah, I've tried all that first, but the fixed pole is definitely the way to go. You can also put those fixed poles on a wall and have it coming out vertically, which I've got in my tutorial room next door. So you don't have to have it coming from the roof. You can have it coming out of a wall.
Nice.
So basically screwed into the wall. It's just basically 4 roll plugs, 4 screws. And then you telescope it out to wherever you want it in the center of your synth and just get the height right. But I'll send you a link to it, Apollo.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm gonna have to.
And that should make life a bit easier for you.
I had a feeling that that's what you're going to tell me is it had to be fixed. I was even going to go get like a Canon Rebel or something, you know, so it has an actual, you know, manual, you know, focus on the lens.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that one I've got is this little zoom lens. It's just a small zoom lens that's on it, but that just allows you, if you've got a bigger keyboard or a smaller keyboard, you can actually just stretch them out to the width of the picture.
Right.
But yeah, I can certainly, I'll talk you through what I've done here and show you how I've got my setup at least, and it'll give you some ideas. I think I'd like to get that running for my channel. I think that people would like that for a camera angle, you know, just setting on a designated keyboard and then, you know.
Beautiful. Look at that. And that's what's
when the
systems
community
really
comes
are.
together.
Fixing shit.
Oh, the power of connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we are back tomorrow. I believe Lamar is also back tomorrow.
We may be starting a little late.
Yeah.
But we will not miss a day.
We missed Kent. I didn't see Kent in the chat today. I hope he's okay.
I hope he's okay. He was in his bed the other night. Was he in last night with you guys?
He was in last night.
He was in last night.
Pub crawling last night.
He just worked too hard on the Mustang, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Going at it for all day.
Yeah.
I kind of want to hear how that pub thing went with you and Sean tomorrow, if you don't mind telling the story.
It actually ended up quite quiet, to be honest. We went out to one and ended up coming back to another, stayed there for a little while, and then just sat out in the back garden. It was very, very hot. And everywhere was so busy. We were like, nah, let's just go home and chill out in the back at least. It gives the dog some company as well, doesn't it? So he's not left on his own for too long.
Yeah, yesterday was super windy.
So we had quite a few beers, but we just mostly done it at home.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, chilling at home. You don't have to worry about anything.
Exactly.
Yesterday was freaking windy here. I wanted to go out in the yard and do stuff, but it was just ridiculous windy. And today was a good day. We were out there for a couple of hours. Got a lot of work done. Getting this outside area looking nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually here we have had 3 weeks solid without any rain and all blue skies and sun.
Really?
Which is never known in Scotland.
Damn.
Never known.
Wow. That's great. We had
it's
rain.
been crazy.
Friday night? Was it Friday night we had rain? Yeah, popcorn night.
Yeah.
We had that crazy rain.
We thought it was a tornado coming.
Yeah, and the grass. Like, I'm just so amazed at how fast this grass fucking here grows.
I mowed the lawn
Oh
3
my
times
God.
last week.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you never mowed the fucking lawn before.
Right.
Like, you're there for the 3rd time, and you're like, I swear I already did this twice over.
And I'm dreading it right now.
Yeah.
And a weed
More than once in a week.
and a thistleweed popped up, and it grew 18 inches in about 12 hours in my garden.
I believe that.
I walked in and I was like, what the hell is this?
that?
Spikes
Yep.
all over.
Yep, we have an invasive ivy right now growing underneath our deck that we just have to attack next weekend.
Yeah. We got to get under there
We
and take the
just-
paneling off the deck, and that's going to be a task.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a skill saw to this fucking thing.
It
That's how
is-
thick the root is.
It's really not good, and it's growing underneath our home.
in the
And
well
Oh,
area.
fuck.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
right next to our well area. So
Clearing that out or
yeah.
chemically kill it.
Yeah, so we have
Copper
do we
sulfate.
still have the
Yeah, I got
crystals?
a bag.
Yeah.
I got a bag of it. I'm
Yeah.
just going to liquefy the copper sulfate.
And
drill a
drown
hole.
it.
I'm going to drill a hole within the root with the drill, and then just pack a bunch of copper sulfate in there.
Yep.
Or dynamite.
Or
Well, I mean, it's close to our well, so maybe not the dynamite. I would go with the copper sulfate.
Yeah,
I
never
vote
mind.
copper sulfate.
Never mind the house, the well.
The well. Yeah. You can rebuild the house for cheaper.
Right. Yeah. That well
Shit.
dig, Jesus.
That well
No
dig is
shit,
fucking
man.
expensive.
Yeah, well digs are not cheap.
No,
Shit.
they are very expensive.
And they're trying to.
Pine tree out with a truck once with a Ford, well, basically a Ford Explorer. Chained it to my bumper and just drove away. And the thing came over. It was a large pine tree, about 12 feet tall.
You can, yeah, 12 feet you could do, but you're not doing anything larger than that.
No,
You know?
I'd have lost
Yeah.
my bumper pump or anything large.
Yeah.
No, but we
Yeah.
really need to get rid of that thing. But the yard's looking nice.
yeah.
The home is finally.
It's just it takes us days to get the.
Yeah, it just.
I feel like we're park maintenance and we're maintaining a fucking 4-acre park.
Well, that's the whole point when you have those little land. Bro.
Right.
I mean, that's part of the deal.
You have to manage it.
You guys got to get a houseboy that contributes the way you can pay him a wage, whether it's printing the T-shirts or feeding the animals and all that. You got to get a houseboy.
Wait,
a house girl.
wait, hold on, Apollo. Are you offering?
Yeah.
Are you for hire?
Listen, if your guys' weed laws was a little better, I'd think about retiring out there. But I smoke too much cannabis.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hopefully they
Indiana,
fucking change.
Let me.
Jesus.
Okay.
We're surrounded by it.
And I'm too old for Indiana girls on Indiana nights.
Before we sign off, I'm going to show the shirt we just pressed today a couple of hours ago. So we're doing our own pressing. And then, what I've been saying at the start of the show is true. I'm not going to say a lot, but there is a known clique out there who would like to see S.O.R's demise, who don't like how we're operating our channel.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Who don't like...
I don't understand.
Who don't like us bringing in...
Wait. Hold on, Apollo. Hold on.
Who don't like us bringing in new hosts.
Wait. Let me put you on.
He's got his beat up kid.
Oh, he's disappeared. Oh,
No,
he's
hold
back
on.
again.
Let me put him on solo.
Sammy wanted to know what I was wearing.
Oh, they look pretty cool, actually.
Air Force Ones.
Hell no,
cool.
Jordan ones.
Oh, okay. The Air Force Ones.
He says. Look at that.
Yeah, we
Air
have
Force Ones.
a few people talking shit about
Patrick
the channel,
Ewings.
but it's fine.
We had people talking shit about the channel, but
And it's funny that they
if those
think
people
that,
are watching right now, why the fuck are you here?
yeah, exactly.
coming
Stop
here.
lurking if you don't like it.
Bounce
And
the fuck off.
And it's hilarious that they think we're not going to find out.
Right.
So, like
Yeah.
I said, when you become important is when people start talking about you.
Right.
So I feel like we're important now.
So dig in, Scotty.
thanks.
Dig in and keep Black Jesus nice and healthy, so we can continue to piss off the religious fanatics, the people who want to see our demise and our downfall.
Fuck them.
Exactly. That's what I say. Show them this shirt real quick.
Oh, sorry, the airplane's flying over. But hey, if they're real religious fanatics, they would just pray for you and they keep their mouth shut.
Exactly. Yeah.
but
Instead of talking shit.
But they don't do that.
They don't do
They
that.
insist that we think that they're racist because jokes are not jokes anymore. And
No.
skin is getting really thin.
Yeah. Show them the shirt. So we just printed this one. This shirt was an idea from the Buddha head that he has in the background with the headphones. So this is where this shirt came
Cool.
about. Yeah, I love that shirt.
It's cool.
Keep telling.
Have you seen Rourke's comment? Some fart sniffers throwing shade?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
And they do it on back channels, Rourke. They don't even fucking
Yeah,
it
they don't even have the balls to come in and say it in here.
right.
Yeah.
They don't even have the fucking balls, the audacity. And the one person that did,
Oh, where have they gone? Meryl shut them down again by mistake, I think, have they?
She just had to mute. She just had to mute him before it got out of line.
there you go.
She's like, "I told you, motherfucker, that shit on this."
We all of a sudden just disappeared from the stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys, you'll probably see it.
Yeah. Uncle Chrome said, Black Buddha bless you. So, I don't know what you guys are going to do when my brother and I have to leave for 4 days, but
It's going to be fun.
I know Symptoms of Reality will still go live.
Don't worry. Scotty and I got it.
We still gonna hurt your feelings. We still gonna
fine.
talk shit about your Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll probably be working at the same time, so Scotty's going to take over the whole fucking show. I'll be like, wait, what did you say?
Oh, no. There's no excuses, Meryl. You've got to be in there.
No, I'll be in, but I'll be fucking working.
What do you think I'm doing during the day?
Drinking beers and going in your hot tub.
No comment.
See? I was right.
Shit.
All right.
That wouldn't be a bad stream though, Scotty.
Shit,
I'm
it
just
would-
saying.
Oh
shit.
my God, you could go live from
Get
your
a
hot
cigar
tub.
or something and shit. You
Go
and Show
live,
chilling.
Go live from your hot tub.
Oh my God.
Is it possible?
Can
That
you
would
imagine?
scare the living shit out of people if people see me in a hot tub. they would be calling Greenpeace and all sorts.
That'd be funny.
Save
as
the
hell,
whale.
Get Willie ass back in the ocean.
Free Willy.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. All right, everybody.
Yeah. All right.
We're out of here.
We'll see y'all tomorrow, and we'll continue to piss y'all off too.
Thank you for coming, Scotty, Roy, Droid, Void, and Apollo. You guys are awesome. Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming.
for chat for continuing to show up for us. I know you guys see the change, and we are very happy with the route we're going. And we'll still keep music in this, but it's not going to be the priority on this channel. The channel is going to be about conversation and connecting with one another. So, you don't like it? Go fuck off.
Let's be humans
Let's be
and be
humans.
nice to humans,
Yeah.
shall we? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't say anything nice, fuck off and don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you don't say something nice, just know it's a fucking joke.
Right. and if you're a witness to someone being fucking foul about someone else, don't entertain their bullshit. Properly tell them.
To fuck off.
There you go, Meryl.
You're welcome.
As I say at the end of
All right,
all the
everybody.
shows, love, bye.
Love, bye.
Bye.